Hello dear viewer, I'm about to watch the Starfield Gameplay Reveal with Todd and I have watched this already 3 times, I think, so it's not a spontaneous sort of first time reaction. I wanted to analyze it a little bit before I share my opinions. I did, however, refrain from watching any other YouTubers' reactions, even Gophers, even though it pops up in my suggestions like crazy, and I'm really keen to watch Gophers' view on things, but I wanted to give you my unbridled opinion, like really my opinion, for whatever good that is, but an honest reaction of me to you. So I will watch Gophers and hopefully a few others afterwards, and of course there are a few things to say perhaps before we start. So first of all, in general, I would say I am excited. I am of course suspicious, and who wouldn't be? You know, I'm getting to that age. I'm the middle age is already looming on the horizon. Well, not really on the horizon. It's getting quite close, and I've had experiences with game developers that are not exactly all pleasant and flowers and roses and nice smells, and there was a lot of over-advertisement in my time, you younglings. So I am cautious. I'm cautious, but they sell it as their most ambitious game yet. And we can, of course, poke a lot of fun and make fun of Bethesda all we want. And we do. On the other hand, we do play their games. Like, if you are watching my channel, if you are a returning viewer, you are most likely playing Bethesda games repeatedly, returning to them. So, there is something to be said on both sides of the arguments, I would say. And in terms of ambitious, they have always been, well, on top of that, I would say. Their games were ambitious for their time, usually. The main ones, at least. All the Elder Scrolls games so far, especially those under Todd Howard, have tried to do something very new and unimaginable, and before. And to some degree, it's true for Fallout games, although the opinions on that are even more mixed, I would say. I have another video in mind about defending Fallout 4 because I somewhat rekindled my excitement about that rather old game already in recent months. But on the other hand, there's already a few videos on YouTube that would do it better, I would say. So perhaps there's no need for that. But in general, yes, ambition is what they can do. It doesn't mean that they will always deliver satisfying results and satisfying product, but they can be very ambitious. And it does look like a very ambitious game, a game that really combines a few genres in a very what would you say, smooth way. But maybe it's just the trailer and there is some over advertisement there. Let's watch it, even though I watched it already. Let's watch it and stop as there are things to talk about as they emerge. Nice quote. Atmosphere is important. Of course.
Control, this is Constellation Starship Frontier. We're ready to start on your signal.
The music seems very good, by the way. I also listened to it, to the sweet, let's say 10-minute combination of tracks that they presented in London Philharmonic Orchestra, by Philharmonic Orchestra of London. Music seems very good. I miss Jeremy Soule. There have been some rumors and happenings that I'm not going to talk about right now. I don't really care about them either. Yeah, but it is very atmospheric. That's the one thing that Bethesda games do well, usually. Setting mood.
We're so grateful you're spending the time, and we know you've waited a long time to finally see Starfield. It's easily our most ambitious game ever. Like our previous games, it's an epic role-playing game where you get to be who you want and go where you want. But this time, you'll be exploring space. Okay,
this is not exactly related to gameplay, but I don't understand why would they put Todd in bright light from more than one direction, I would guess, without doing anything to his shiny face. Like, his face is almost as shiny as his leather jacket. Like, that's not right. You could give him a little bit of makeup before putting him in this embarrassing position, you know. There is no need for that. He's not an ugly man, exactly. He's not maybe the most handsome, but he's also not an ugly guy. He could be, you know, prepared for this a little bit more. And it looks like he is reading from a prompter, although he is also tracking the camera, which is tracking him, which is overproduction, I suppose. I miss the times when he would just sit down and talk. This is very produced, very directed, it seems, unfortunately. Sort of a corporate message, which it gets better later. The presentation part gets better later. So it's even more jarring for me that they decided to do the worst part of the presentation, production-wise, at the start. Whatever. That's not the subject here.
So let's jump right in. This is early in the game as you arrive on the mysterious moon of Crete.
According to the scanners, the abandoned research facility is in this direction.
Right, this is also surprisingly, what would I say, mediocre, standard Bethesda sort of mood setup, exposition, I guess. A huge vista, nice landscape, well, nice, sort of scary and moon-like, but that's the point. Beautiful in a different way. But there isn't anything special, anything particularly well done when compared to other games of today, which seems a little bit discouraging. The animation on that robot wasn't really that great. Nothing really stands out. It's a well done, landscape. Cool, but you would think that they should start with something very impressive. Maybe they're holding it for later, and we'll see. Now we learn that you can, in fact, avoid combat, at least in some situations in this game. Not all critters will be hostile, which perhaps is obvious at this point in time, but I remember the days when everything would like to kill you in Morrowind. And again, nice view. It looks like the distant load objects are not as horrible as they used to be in Skyrim. Well done, Beth. This is, I guess, mining in this game. You don't use a pickaxe in space, of course. But you do gather resources, which will be important later in the video. Very important for the building system, which seems rather exciting. But this part, this is the core part of the gameplay, I would imagine.
It would appear that pirates of the Crimson Fleet are using the facility.
Shooty combat thing, right? And it seems eerily similar to Fallout 4. Nothing really, you will see. You probably already seen this anyway. But there's nothing really that would say, tell me what is the unique combat thing of this game. And there always has been something special. Well, in Elder Scrolls at least. So you do shoot things, you know. You can run fast, you can drop grenades. It's really Fallout-like. It seems Fallout 4-like. Now, I hope there will be hotkeys for PC version. Really, I really do. That I could just hotkey, because I just saw that little, for a brief second, that little console thingy, little console hotkey shortcut thingy. I would really like to have the ability still, as I had forever, to be able to just press a key on my keyboard and have a weapon attached to that key being put out. Maybe it's obvious for everybody else but me, but I don't trust not Bethesda in particular, but any game developer these days, that they will remember that there is a lot of keys on a keyboard and you can use this in a PC version. But we'll see. Maybe I'm just overly pessimistic. Maybe I'm just bitter. Now, this is very important. Minigames! Of course there will be minigames. And the name of this one, Digipic, I'm sure will be the source of a few memes on the internet. Digipic, really? What's with the naming in general? Like Crimson Fleet is one of the most uninventive names for a fictional faction I've ever heard, to be honest. It's Crimson Cringe. And here, I guess what happened here is that the player shot that guy's jetpack, and the jetpack malfunctioned and exploded the enemy with that jetpack. That would, if that works like that, that's, you know, fine. That's fun. That's fun. We've had it before in things like that in Fallout games, and with grenades exploding and the like. So. You know, shooting weapons out of enemy hands, and like Skyrim had shouts, and Oblivion, that was a long time ago, you younglings, but Oblivion was the first, at least for Bethesda, the first RPG game to introduce some actually dynamic combat, action-like combat mechanics. So, you know, most of these games had something very unique to combat, at least for the genre of open-world RPGs. You know, not this sort of fusion merger of action and RPG. And here, it's been a few minutes, and I saw nothing really particularly exciting. It's okay-ish. I don't think it's horrible. I think I would enjoy shooting stuff in this game, but I don't need that much to be entertained. It would just be nice to see something that really says, like shouts for Skyrim, where he says, "This is what you do in combat in this game, and in this game alone." You know. Alright, maybe there will be something. Maybe there will be a very important DLC, or a series of DLCs that you have to pay for a gazillion of times. Hopefully, that's another problem that. Maybe there will be an opportunity to talk about it later. Yeah, flying with a jetpack again, Fallout 4 thing.
After some initial encounters, you're invited to join Constellation, who, in the future the game is set in, are the last group of space explorers. To meet them, you'll head
Why
to
the
the
last?
city
Is the exploration of
immediately.
space already almost done? Because that would be sad. Now, is this a cutscene or gameplay, actually? What we just saw, all these NPCs walking around. Because it sort of seemed like a cutscene. It's a little bit too smooth.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
Now, there is I will pause here, because otherwise I will keep returning to the problem of facial expressions in this trailer thing. Now, this one, actually, that we stopped on is not the worst. There will be worse later on. But I still think there is something that seems unfinished about them, about the facial expressions. And Bethesda has historically always struggled with facial expressions and lip-syncing and all that. And I would love to see an improvement. The face itself seems very well done, very natural, to me at least. I'm not a particularly demanding customer, perhaps, but it seems okay. There's a lot of detail. The skin seems not entirely Play-Doh and the like, and there's this lovely shine to the eyes, and generally, you know, on par with very good, graphically speaking, very good games of today, so that's fine. But the facial expressions are a tad sharp, to say the least. There is almost no transition at some points. You can see later on there will be almost like no transition. Like, this is my sad face, and this is my interested face, and this is my frowny face, and this is my happy face, and it just goes from happy from one expression to another in a blink. Blip, blip, blip. Seems like some smoothness needs to be added to this, especially that they insist on showing us very rather close portrait-like shots of the NPCs. Maybe that's how the dialogue will look like in the game, which would be nice, because I kind of like looking at people I am talking to, so that would be kind of natural. But on the other hand, you very rarely look directly at a person you're talking to in IRL, you know. But never mind, and not always at the same angle. But the facial expressions probably could use some more work. Maybe they are still working on that. That's my hope. Because it would be nice if their most ambitious project would also be the one when they don't struggle with lip syncing and facial expressions. And generally the quality of faces, you know, the scary Play-Doh people of Oblivion are long past, hopefully, and you know, the awful lip syncing of the initial release of Skyrim is also in the past. So maybe, you know, one can hope.
We're all here because we're committed to the biggest question of all. What's out there? These artifacts could be everything we've been looking for. As to what they are, what they're building, you'll be part of solving that puzzle now.
Not the best dialogue in history, but you know,
You found something?
The new guy found
not the worst either.
You dug up the artifact, right? That's
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. What the hell is going on with this guy's face?
visions?
Is he just extremely expressive person?
The artifact you found appears to be one of many, scattered across the galaxy. If we can find more, we can unlock their secrets.
Beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to
Now this is extremely important question now. Is this the Bellator's voice actor trying to do Spanish accent? Because if so, I'm totally going to enjoy this game. I will buy it twice, thrice, quadrupice. I don't know. what's 4 times. And I will buy it many a times, and I will enjoy it very much, and I will spend a lot of hours in it. Especially if you also give me the Serana voice actress in this game. Can we have a petition for that? Can we start a petition on Twitter or somewhere? Because I really need Serana's voice in my life. More of that, please. And Bellator doing Spanish accent would be extremely amusing to me, because I am, as I said, easily entertained.
Of course, the settled systems is full of groups with other priorities.
That's the
Crimson Fleet. Who thought of that name? Jesus.
Agreed to work for UCC Steph. And together, we take down these cutthroat pirates.
We're not just here to shoot the bad guys. We're peacekeepers. We protect the people of the Free Star Collective.
When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, no one quits. The only way.
Now this looks like a cutscene or a finisher. It's way too smooth to be a part of normal combat. It seems like a finisher or a separate cutscene, which is sad because that's it would be nice to have some smoothness in Beth's game for once.
Is death.
The path ahead may be dangerous, but we are not stopping.
Most Dusties don't even make it this far.
A lot of different accents in
Because
this game.
whatever lies at the end of this road will change humanity forever.
Now this is pretty.
That gives you a look at
Hello,
the story
Todd.
of Starfield. But ultimately, it's not our story. It's the story you create by who you
Don't
are
stop
and
pondering.
the
Stop
choices.
pondering. There are writers
And that
involved in
starts
your story
with
writing, right?
character
Okay, this is the most important part for me.
It's our most flexible yet. You can customize all the elements of how you look.
Finally, I get to play as an overweight, morbidly obese teacher with anxieties. That's actually. It looks like it has actual RPG elements. This RPG game. I know it's surprising. I know it's a completely fresh approach to RPG, but it seems like this actually has some RPG-like character building systems. Let's look at this.
You'll pick a background that gives you 3 starting
Yeah,
skills.
this is what I'm talking about. Now, this is not a class. This is just a set of starting skills. You will be able, as he will say in a second, to unlock more skills. It's not clear if there are any limitations, but I doubt it. If there are any limitations to what you can unlock, derived from your starting choices, I seriously doubt it. It's probably not going to happen, which is sad because actually limitations are what increases and encourages creativity, because then you have to figure out the way with what you have, and you have to find new applications of what you have at hand, and you don't just pick and choose whatever from everything there is in the universe. I would say that's why the old school attribute system from Oblivion and Morrowind was a rather good one, and most old school RPG games was a rather good one, because your starting choices mattered and forced you to explore a specific way of playing the game. Meanwhile, without those limitations, you basically, then people just end up playing stealth archers all the time, because you can add whatever you want to a stealth archer, and sneak archer is the most effective combat style and the least risky combat style, so why not play stealth archers all the time, right? So there are problems with the completely open-ended approach, but at least there are some starting choices, and as you can see in the top right corner, there are traits as well, which actually have some limitations. They're optional.
Here you spend some time as a diplomat. Having a way with words might prove useful.
There are
Yeah.
optional traits, and these come with
Sort of
unique
pity that they are
advantages
optional, but I
and
guess power gamers, action gamers need to enjoy this game as well.
Not just in how you can look, but in how your character plays and develops. The skill system combines the best from our previous games, and you can unlock new skills as you level up, and then you rank those skills up by using them and completing challenges.
This looks a little bit boring, range and damage increase. Are there any other ways of doing cool things? I guess it will all be in the gear, because there is supposedly a lot of crafting systems and subsystems in this game. So I guess a lot of extra, what would you say, gimmicks and tricks will be on the side of equipment, hopefully. And this is just the basic improvement of your skill. I also don't really understand why they needed to call it a skill challenge. You need to max out, you need to kill a certain amount of enemies to unlock next rank of the skill. It's basically the same as a skill experience. So why fix something that isn't broken? Has always been beyond me, a question that I never ever discovered an answer to. But whatevs.
Challenges. And there's deep crafting systems.
Yeah.
From running research
Yeah.
projects with the resources you find.
That is exciting to me. If you know me, you know that I will be probably spasming right now. Nice editing too.
And you can build
Yes! Now this is genuinely exciting to me, especially that it looks well developed from the first glance at least. It looks like something that you can actually, you know, pan the camera out and plan your outpost or settlement, which is a great improvement over Fallout 4's system. And it is possibly the first time I see a well-developed RTS-like building system in a well-developed action RPG game. Yeah, sorry about that, there was a noise. Yes, so this is the first time I see. I'm not sure, maybe I'm not very well informed in gaming anymore, but this is the first time I actually see something that looks like, at least, as a RTS-like system for building. Rather, I would say intuitive, rather intelligible, in a fully developed shooter adventure action game that is also an RPG game, and that also includes building of your own starship, which we will look at in a minute, and exploration. Yeah, this is probably the most exciting to me, the most promising part of this, because it does look like at least part of the promises can be delivered upon, can be fulfilled in this game. Like the ambition part that I started with. It seems like if it really works at least somewhat well, you know, if it is tolerable to begin with, it's already an achievement, this combination. If you can smoothly transition from one type of gameplay to another, if you can do a few creative things in each, I would say the combination itself is something to be slightly impressed with. You know, I don't want to be a Bethesda shill. On the other hand, I also don't want to be too harsh to people, a company that really produced a lot of pleasant memories in my life. So it's hard to really be impartial here, but it seems like at least part of the ambitious promises can be fulfilled from this one moment. No, we will see how it goes.
Survival and resource generation. You can choose where and how to build each one, and you can hire characters you meet to keep it up and running. But that's not all. You can even build your own spaceships. You can choose crew members, and yes, you can completely customize the look and layout.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm going to admit that already.
There's loads of different modules, ship manufacturers, and more. I have to say, it's so cool. We just
There will be so many unnecessary Creation Club content for this. So much.
It's not just how the ship looks, it's how it performs, from engines to shields to weapon systems, because yes, you can fly it.
Thrusters boosted.
Hey. So on top of all that, there's also the space shooting, sort of spaceflight simulator part of the game. So, well, as I have always been a junkie for combinations of genres in one game, you know, for strategy games that would also be RPG games, that would also be action games. It is exciting. It may get boring easily. There isn't that many obstacles and interesting changes in environment in space. It looks okay. The sounds, I like the sounds, to be honest. The sound direction seems to be okay. sounds were very good in Skyrim. The most underrated part of Skyrim, in my humble opinion, is the overall sound quality and concept. And it would seem so that this game may also have a very immersive sounds. I mean, cool sound side of things with cool music is already a lot, you know.
For all of you to experience
Already
the game,
builds up a lot
thanks
of the
again
atmosphere.
For being with us today, and thanks for all
No
the support
problem, Todd.
you've given us
Always.
over
I'm
the
always
decades,
here for you,
especially
Todd.
on this game. It's been an incredible journey for us making it, but we know that's really only the beginning, for it's when all of you play it that the real journey begins. And you may be wondering, just how big is this game? So we thought we'd take one last moment and show you.
Now to the most questionable
Let's take a look
part
at
that I'm
our
the most
planet's
suspicious
genesis.
of.
You can land into Atlantis,
Yes.
but you can also land and explore anywhere on the planet.
Alright, could you show me more of the planet?
All the planets in the system.
Okay, could you show me more of the
From
system?
barren but resource-heavy ice balls to
Okay, a
Goldilocks
little bit
planets
more,
with life.
but I still can't see
And
what
not
is
just
on
the
those
system,
planets.
but over 100 systems. Over 1,000 planets, all open for you to explore. We can't wait.
Okay, I can wait. I will wait for more information on that, Todd, because 1,000 planets. Planets, you know, not provinces, not towns, not villages. Planets sounds insane. You shouldn't even be talking about it in these terms. You shouldn't even be giving any numbers yet, because I don't think any reasonable person can believe you that this is going to be interesting to explore. To be perfectly frank with you, Todd, it is actually, unfortunately, most likely that it will be that the end result will be that the overwhelming majority of the game is a procedurally generated boredom. You know, copy paste, never-ending world, which you know, it can be done well. You know, Minecraft is procedurally generated, and exploring your world in Minecraft is fine. It's fine. It gets boring after a while, but you have many other activities. You know, so you can switch to and then return to exploring and find resources. I guess with the building system, gathering resources will be important, so the exploration will have a point other than, well, it's exploration itself. And but still, you know, if it is all procedurally generated copy-paste mess, then it won't really feel like your game, Todd. You know, the point of exploration in all the other Bethesda open-world games I played, at least, is not to see as huge of a world as possible, but to see as detailed of a world as possible. A world that seems vast at first glance, at least. It's not actually that vast, but it seems like a vast world, and then it turns out to be very detailed. You know, there's a lot of little things to pick up, a lot of little secrets to discover, a lot of little hints at broader stories happening behind the scenes, and you know, the interactions between bandits and letters and notes and such things that that make you feel like you are a part of a living world. Now, I guess a lot of these planets can be uninhabited, and there won't be a lot of interaction in society they like to discover, but maybe there will be, maybe there won't be, I don't know. But my main question is, will this all be procedurally generated, Todd? Because it's a rather important thing, man. Because it can really decide on the character of the entire game, and the character of the entire reaction of your fan base, so to say, of your players. Because if the size comes at the cost of details, I would rather play games of the size of Oblivion for the rest of my life, to be honest, than be constantly discovering the same old crap that I've already seen. Like, I can explore Skyrim for 1,000th time, because I keep finding at least tiny minute details that I have missed. What's the mine very close to Helgen, that sort of starter dungeon designed to be slightly easier than other bandit location, you know. I can't remember at this point. There's a little mine on your way to Riverwood. Now there is a door there that I don't think I ever encountered, because it's in a dark corner, or at least I don't remember. Maybe very long time ago I opened those doors, and there's a piece of content that I've never explored. There are things like that all over the place, because everything is handmade, and you can put secrets when everything is handmade. And then part of the handmade stuff is also randomized, like the loot. So every time you open the boss chest, you will be surprised. So I wonder how will these things be approached here. I really worry about this. 1,000 planets, Todd. Are you out of your mind? So unless there is a lot of, because you can have a procedurally generated dungeon, right? I mean, it won't be. It will be a dungeon template that somebody had to design first and then put into the generation algorithm. But still, we could have that. We could have many kinds of dungeons being partly handmade in a procedurally generated world, and dungeons, you know what I mean, locations to explore and fight for your life in and conquer, so to say. So we could have that, of course, in a procedurally generated world, and maybe they even won't be that repetitive. It depends on the execution, as always. Every idea can be horrible or wonderful depending on the execution. Well, not every, but many, I would say most of the ideas can be forged into something decent, at least if the execution is wonderful and meticulous and I wonder if that is the case here, because I somehow cannot trust you, Todd, on that, you know. Sorry, Todd, you know, you're wonderful. I still love you, but not as much as I used to, I guess. I've been meeting some other game designers, developers, and directors, and they never told me I'm fat. Alright, anyway, they never made fun out of my hopes and dreams, Todd. And that's basically the main problem I'm having for now with this sort of trailer game reveal presentation thingy. This is the most important bit of information that you are not disclosing here in a reveal video, you know. The character system overall, let's summarize, because I'm talking for too long, I feel like. Let's summarize. So yeah, the character creation is interesting, at least interesting. I am willing to give it a chance, a go. I am very eager to try it out. Character creation and building, and like the building system looks also promising if it is implemented smoothly for once into that broader action RPG context. And it would be that would be a strong argument for this game, I would say. That would be, for me personally, because as I said, that's also always have been a game of my dreams, sort of, where you can do all those things that usually are split between different genres. So if that is implemented smoothly into the entire game, and if one part of the game affects the other, you know, your shooting and running adventures give you some resources for building, and the other way around. It seems like when you build, you will unlock new crafting projects. It looks like, I'm not sure, but it seems like that is the case. If that's the case, then already there is an interaction between two very broad and hopefully somewhat deep systems. So that can be very, very interesting. If that is done well, well, then we'll have a mixed sort of feelings. I guess I will have mixed feelings with the procedurally generated boredom and the very intricate sort of crafting system and building system, interacting with the main core action-adventure gameplay. I would very much love to see more of that core. I think it's still going to be the core gameplay, right? Running and shooting things and fighting things. It has to be, right? That's always the thing, dude. You should have shown us more of that, to be honest. That's the problem. It seems, as I said, uninventive, and not really polished. Yeah, some people would say, well, the Bethesda games are never polished. What would you expect? Yeah, but what I meant is what I said before, right? Is the lack of something special for this particular game. What is the exciting thing for Starfield combat system? You know, we had the shouts. You know, there was the shouts when in the times of Oblivion, the expectations were not as high as they are today. You didn't need that much to be entertained. Just the fact that there are some action elements, some dynamic combat elements in an RPG game was already somewhat wow-ish, somewhat exciting, somewhat interesting to see. And I guess in Fallout 4, well, it looked like from the early trailers that the power armors will be interesting, somewhat, very customizable. They somewhat were, you know. They were noticeable. They were a success overall, I would say, with all the ifs and buts and discussions. And put that aside because it's not about Fallout 4, this video. I would say overall it was a success. It was sort of interesting, sort of well done little subsystem affecting your combat efficiency. Perhaps too well done, because then fighting without combat, without power armor seemed a little bit meh for a while for me in Fallout 4. So yes, we badly need to see, Todd, what is the power armor / shouts for this game, because without it would be a little bit disappointing. And I know it's harsh, because it may be they're trying to sell this game as Todd Howard's opus magnum, or magnum opus, his greatest work. You know, he's been working on that for 25 years, which is obviously like beautification of reality, to put it mildly, without using the actual word ally for this, because, you know, if you are working on something for 25 years, you're not actually working on that on 25 years. You're thinking about it for 20 years and working on it for 5. So that's a little bit, that's again an advertising strategy, I bet, on Beth's part, because obviously, even if Todd was has been dreaming about making a game like this since high school, and you know, I've been dreaming to play a game like this since secondary school, primary school, I guess, maybe preschool even. No, I don't think I played video games at that time, but primary school for sure. And so maybe even if that's the case, if the dream has been there, it doesn't mean that you guys were working on the game for 25 years. That's just silly. Stop it, right? And I would say this is it. Facial expressions bother me. The lack of anything particularly captivating in the combat system bothers me. And the procedurally generated possibility, the great potential for boredom and repetitiveness in that bothers me. Now, the implementation of various different systems gives me hope. Character creation gives me some sort of hope. The music is wonderful, and sounds are immersive, I would say, without overselling it. If that is, if it works, if those three things I like about it work, I would say I will still enjoy the game, and I will definitely try to make some content for it. If these things are still enjoyable despite the flaws that may be there. If these three things are subpar, and those three things I'm particularly afraid of are there, then the game will be a flop. So that's my infinitely competent prediction. Alright. That's that, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and let me know what you think, of course, in the comments. That's what YouTube is for. Very few people remember about it, that you can actually tell me I'm a douche in the comment section if you like. Do that. He said do. If you like it, and we will definitely see each other again, and hopefully about Skyrim and Fallout 4 and about Starfield. We'll see each other when something new comes up. All right. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
To see what you find.